Julia and I went to the same college, Berry College, which is in Georgia. We met there and we got married after she graduated. I love the outdoors. Julia, not as much.
I wouldn't consider myself outdoorsy like Michael is outdoorsy. He is very gung-ho for backpacking and not showering and growing facial hair out in the wilderness, and I don't like doing any of those things.
My family was down in the Smoky Mountains. We were staying in a cabin in Gatlinburg. And on Thanksgiving, we actually went out for just a family hike. Nothing real strenuous. Julia was stepped on some rocks that were wet, completely lost her feet, fell directly onto her tailbone, and she was down.
And it didn't even hurt for a second, it was just like that sudden. And I was just shocked, and then I just couldn't move. It just really freaked me out because I couldn't move my legs or anything like that.
It was really scary. Eventually we helped her up, and she's obviously hurting a lot.
And we had to walk back down the 2-mile hike, and it was just excruciating.
It was, probably the longest 2 miles I've ever hiked, because it's, just helping her the whole way, going, incredibly slow, and I just felt so bad because she was hurting so much the whole time.
Got back in the car, and I had to actually lay down in the back because I couldn't even sit up, and went back to the cabin and just, went and laid on the bed and just thought, a couple of days of rest would make it, better. And didn't, I guess, grasp the seriousness of it.
Probably about 3 days later, we got back home, and we went to an urgent care place because it was still hurting really badly.
They said that it was fine. There's, just a bruised tailbone kind of thing. And that the pain was, okay because this part of the injury.
It's going to hurt for a little while, and it probably won't be completely healed for another 2 months.
And like a couple months, I don't have time for that. I was busy and had things going on, and I was in grad school, and it was just not convenient for me at all.
Some days she couldn't even sit in class. She would have to lie down on the floor in her classroom. Every night when she'd get back home, she'd be lying on the couch with a heating pad, and that was pretty much the entire night. She couldn't get up. She couldn't do anything.
And just being on all sorts of medications and feeling like you're in a fog all the time. It was just, I just felt like I wasn't even a real person anymore.
It was a tough time. She was out of it most of the time.
We realized that it wasn't a bruise or something like that. It wasn't getting any better. And so we went to my family doctor.
They took a look at it and said that it looks like she has a ruptured disc, which was a lot more serious than what we originally thought. And he said that it looks like it was going to be requiring surgery.
And recovery time. And, he was very honest in saying that, you might not want to have the surgery because it might not work.
I was just devastated because, I love my wife so much, and I see her every day and every night in so much pain. And just unable to do the simple things that she enjoys, going out anywhere, doing anything active. After just feeling so helpless, I really got to thinking about all the stories in the New Testament where Jesus would miraculously heal someone. And so I was thinking, why can't he do that for Julia? A passage that really stuck out to me was the story of the centurion and his servant who was about to die. And they sent for Jesus to come and heal him. And it said that Jesus was amazed at the man's faith. And he said, "Because of your faith, your servant has been healed." And he was. Another passage that really stuck out to me was where it says, "If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask what you wish and it'll be given to you." So I'm just thinking about all these miracles that Jesus does, and I read this passage. It says, if I'm abiding in God, ask what I wish and it'll be given to me. So my plan was, all right, I'm going to be abiding in God. So I said, okay, I'm going to take this week and fast and pray. And so what I did is, for breakfast, I would skip breakfast and I'd spend time with God, reading His Word, praying, and lunch and dinner. God just really showed me some awesome things during that week, and I was just praying for her to be healed. And I went several days doing this, just reading and praying with God and asking for Him to heal Julia. And I kind of realized that I was selling God short. I'm putting God into a box where He says, do this equals this gonna happen, and that's not the way God works. And something I read was in James 5, how if any of you is sick, he should have the elders of the church come and pray over him, and the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. And I read that one morning before going to work, and it just floored me. And I said, it doesn't matter. I don't have to pray for a week and then she's healed. God has the power, And he has the ability, and I felt him speaking to me saying, all I need to do is go pray over her, and then she'll be healed in a miraculous way, which seems kind of crazy, but I believed it. I really did. So I was pumped up, and I had to leave for work. I was, but just about to walk out the door. So I went and woke her up, said goodbye, and I said, hey, I got good news. When I get home from work, we're going to pray, and God's going to heal you.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, have a great day. I don't know what to say to that. So he went on his way. And honestly, it was kind of a sinking feeling for me. He went to work and I went to school, and the whole day I just felt this sinking feeling and this fear that, Michael would be let down. And I was just praying that God would, protect Michael from feelings of, being hurt or of being betrayed by him.
So after I got back from work, Julia was at home, and
I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect or what was happening, and I felt a little awkward.
I kind of shared with her what I've been going through, what I've been praying about, what I felt God speaking to me about during this week, or these few days that I've been fasting. And I just shared with her how I truly believed that God was telling me that I should pray over her and that she'll be healed instantly.
I just remember that we had a time of just like praying and worshiping, and it was just such a sweet time of just like of worshiping God, and it was just really, really neat.
So we got down, we knelt down on the floor in my living room, and I just prayed for a minute, and at the end of my prayer, I just placed my hand on her back, and I just prayed that God to heal her instantly, and he did. She got up and felt no more pain.
And I didn't really believe it. I mean, even then, I was just kind of like the doubter. I was like, people can fool themselves into thinking certain things. I never thought that he would heal me. But the next day we went out, I was able to go for a run with Michael, and, I was able to go to school, and I didn't need any pain medication.
Since then, she's never felt that same pain. We actually had an MRI scheduled that we had already set up that she was going to go to the specialist again.
I really needed that, and God knew I needed to see those results. And we went and had the MRI, and it was completely clear. The doctor was, from what he'd been given from the x-ray, and then looking at this, he's like, it just looks like two different backs, and he was just flabbergasted. He's like, this just is not typical.
I really learned that his power is not just something that happened 2,000 years ago. Stories that you read about, that he's still working today, and his power still is alive today.
If you need a miracle, I would just say that it can happen. I know that now, and I know that can happen for me. It can happen for you. It's a personal thing that still goes on. It's not just something that's in a book. Even when I didn't believe it, even when I didn't feel like I had it in myself to ask for it, and it wasn't because of my faith, and it wasn't because of anything I had done, it was through God and through the faith of someone else that a miracle was given to me.
There's no other way to explain it except that it has to be God.